Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and Kamala Harris's campaign is collapsing, and the reason for it, well, at least one of the reasons for it, gonna shock you. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. And if you're not watching us on YouTube, please go to that address in the lower right-hand corner. It's youtube.com/@explainamerica. When you get there, please hit subscribe, absolutely free. It really helps us out. Vice President Kamala Harris, her campaign is collapsing. You're seeing it in the polling. Swing states now, like Nevada, starting to go for former President Donald Trump. Nobody expected that. Nevada is a stronghold in the Sun Belt for the Democrats. You're seeing polls in North Carolina. You're seeing polls in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, where Trump is either tied or ahead. And as you guys know from Trump polling is an anomaly because people don't want to admit generally that they're voting for Trump. They don't want the ridicule, the scorn. They don't want the snide remarks and comments. So a lot of times they'll hide that fact. So the fact that Trump is either slightly ahead or tied in most of these states or just slightly behind, that's a problem sign for Harris. Also, with how well Trump has been polling among black voters, Latino voters, women voters. Again, these are people who, a lot of them probably don't want to admit they're voting for Trump. So how high is the number really? Now, internal polling shows serious concerns for Harris. These are the private polls that we see that the public doesn't really see, that people in the political arena see, right? They're bad for Harris. They're bad. And doesn't mean Trump's going to win. There's no guarantees here. But you could see the desperation starting to take effect in the Harris campaign. That being said, it's become what I would call a massive issue. And one of the reasons for it, a lot of people believe, including Newt Gingrich, whose video I'm going to show you, he's the former Republican Speaker of the House, they believe Joe Biden is sabotaging her. Yes, that President Joe Biden is sabotaging her. And you've seen it. You've seen him tie her to him, say that she was involved in all these policies. President Biden knows his policies are immensely unpopular. He knows that. He's a lot of things, but dumb isn't one of them. He knows what the people are saying about his presidency and the numbers, inflation, the jobs, unemployment. These things are all hammering the Biden administration. He's uniquely unpopular. For a modern president, maybe the most unpopular of our time, okay? And so he knows that, and yet he's tying her to him. Then he has a video the other day where he calls her his boss, almost a sly dig at her. And then you all saw what he did with Governor Ron DeSantis. Kamala Harris said that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, a Republican, not taking her call was a selfish act, and it reeked of politics. Well, when asked about it, hey, should Governor DeSantis have taken Kamala Harris's call? What Biden said was, he's been talking to me, he's been doing great, and he's saying what a great job we're doing. He didn't say he should have took Harris's call. Harris is not the president. As much as the media wants to portray her as the president, as much as some Democrats want to portray her as the president, and how do you think that feels to Joe Biden, who worked his whole life to be president, becomes president, and then in the final days of his presidency, he's already turned the nomination over to her. In the final days of his presidency, final months of his presidency, they want to make it act like Kamala Harris is the president. How do you think that feels to somebody like Joe Biden? A very prideful man. You've often heard him say, on my word as a Biden, right? Because he's got a lot of pride in who he is, who his family is. And now to be shoved aside? So is he sabotaging her? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that question. That's for the American people to decide. It's for you guys to decide. But I want you to listen to what former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich said about it, and then let me know what you think in the comments.
My guess is that we're in the early stages of watching her collapse, and that given the objective, larger realities that surround her. One last comment, which I know you wrote me back about today. My hunch as a historian and occasional novelist is that sometime in the last 2 weeks, Joe and Jill looked at each other and thought, wouldn't it be a great legacy if Joe's the only guy ever to beat Trump. And I think the stuff he's done to undermine her in the last 10 days is pretty amazing, and I don't think it's an accident.